While the media has you completely distracted by war, the government is quietly opening a door to your retirement account. Everyone says that your 401k is perfectly safe as long as you set it and forget it. And usually that's true, but right now Wall Street is currently coming after that money so they can lend it to questionable businesses and extract huge fees, making you their exit liquidity. My name's Nick, I've been a professional investor and unprofessional trader for 24 years. Today we need to talk about why your retirement account is suddenly holding the exact same shadow banking trash that institutional investors are desperately trying to dump. Let's figure this out together. But before we start, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not an inducement to buy or sell any assets. And most importantly, do not take financial advice from some random dude on YouTube. Let's get straight into it. So on August 7th, 2025, the government signed an executive order. It's officially titled Democratizing Access to Alternative Assets for 401k Investors. Very nice title, right? And then they push out this narrative through the media that it's a huge win for the little guy. You finally get access to exclusive private credit funds that only billionaires used to be able to buy. That's so awesome. Wall Street just loves helping out the little guy. They expect us to believe this trash. The catch is that smart money is already running for the exits. Institutional investors are strapped for cash and desperately trying to sell their private equity stakes. So Wall Street has a massive problem. They have trillions in overvalued, illiquid loans, and their billionaire clients want out. They need a new source of dumb money to buy these bags. Enter the $14 trillion defined contribution market. By targeting 401k funds, they access 90 million Americans who automatically deposit part of their paycheck every 2 weeks. Let's look at what private credit actually is, because it's important that you know. It's basically shadow banking. Unregulated, non-bank funds lend to risky, heavily indebted companies that traditional commercial banks would refuse to touch. When a bank refuses to touch a business, there's probably a reason. The US private credit market exploded from $500 billion to $2 trillion over the last 5 years, and globally it's $3 trillion. And now the bill is coming due. According to Fitch Ratings, the default rate for US private credit borrowers hit a record 9.2% in 2025, 9.2% are defaulting, and then it rose to 9.4% in January of 2026. Issuers with 25 million or less earnings are defaulting at an absolutely terrifying 15.8% rate. But here is the bigger problem, and there is a bigger problem. The real default rate is actually much higher, but they are hiding it using something called PIK loans, PIK loans. PIK stands for payment in kind. When a company cannot pay its interest, the fund just adds that interest to the total loan amount and pretends it's still performing well. It's basically legalized accounting fraud. The IMF just warned that over 40% of the companies who borrowed from these private lenders have negative cash flow. And remember, the private lenders are using your money, retail money, also institutional money. But they are bleeding money. Interest payment deferrals drove 59% of all default events late last year. So the truth is right there in the data. These companies are drowning in high interest rates, and Wall Street's solution is to just hide the losses. So how does a defaulting software company actually hit your retirement account? Through the risk waterfall. These toxic loans are bundled into business development companies, or BDCs. These BDCs are highly leveraged, and they are now being quietly slipped into your 401k's target date funds. Firms like BlackRock and Goldman Sachs, I always mispronounce that. Why? I don't know. They're designing these exact vehicles right now. They tell you that private credit is safe because the returns look incredibly smooth on paper. You get a nice, steady, positive return every single month. It's wonderful, isn't it? But that is a complete illusion. They only look smooth because these funds refuse to mark their assets properly, like, using any form of accounting reality. Without the public market pricing, they use their own internal models to guess what the loans are worth. Oh man, I hate Wall Street. You can have smooth pricing or you can have liquidity. You can't have both. And over the last few weeks, private credit funds like Blue Owl, BlackRock, Blackstone have all started showing signs of failure. Just a correction there. BlackRock and Blackstone, they're not just private credit funds. They do a lot of stuff, but they have private credit funds within them. So they're halting or struggling to meet customer withdrawals, which is really bad. So essentially, they are collapsing and desperately looking for an off-ramp. And that off-ramp is your 401k. So you have to protect yourself against this. Look, don't take my word for it. I'm just some random dude on YouTube. Do your own research. If you agree that private credit feels risky, talk to your advisor about removing exposure from your 401k, from your just general pension fund. I keep saying 401k, but general pension funds too, right? Now, I cover this much more deeply on my main channel. I did a video on this today where I went into a lot more depth. If you want to know how I'm protecting myself, check out this video. It's on your screen right now. Other than that, see you next time.